What did the popular kid at your school do to go from cool to an absolute outcast? He got drunk and finger-banged a sheep at an outdoor party. He spent the next 3 years as the sheep. Edit, everyone assumes he was Welsh, or from New Zealand. This was upstate New York.
You build hundreds of bridges throughout your life, and nobody calls you a bridge builder. But you one goat.
There was a girl that was the popular girl in school. She had all the friends, and even put out an album. She was a total star locally. One day we were taking standardized tests, and she runs out of the room, and doesn't return. When we left the class, there was green diarrhea all over the floor just down the hall from the classroom. Poor girl didn't make it to the bathroom in time. She didn't return to school that school year, and moved to another town/school completely after that. She married a famous NFL player, and is one of these Instagram people now, so she bounced back from a shitty situation pretty well.
Please tell me she dating a Green Bay Packer?
That was rookie year. He's with the Browns now.
Didn't make it to the Super Bowl.
You misspelled Super Bowl. Got an 8th grade girl pregnant, while he was a junior in high school. He eventually transferred out because everyone hated him so much.
For those not in America, that's at least a 4-year age gap. 17-year-old knocking up a 13-year-old.
No jail? Or at least juvie?
Lol, in some states that looks more like a marriage proposal than legal trouble.
There was a senior in high school that got his sophomore girlfriend knocked up. They were both pretty much at the top of their respective classes, but not smart enough to use a condom. Back in those days, the district usually forced the pregnant girls out to a special school, out of view from everyone. They got married, and refused to leave. There wasn't anything the administration could do because their grades were too good. Although I think they divorced soon after graduation. Classic teacher interaction. She wasn't really showing too much at this point.
Hey, what are you kids doing?
I'm talking to my wife. You mind? Most popular kid in my middle school was this big Samoan dude. Looked like he was 13 going on 25 years old. I remember he gained a lot of popularity when he serenaded this girl in class to ask her to the dance. He had music playing on his iPhone, and he started belting out love songs, while on bended knee. Later on that year he went from hero to zero when we found out he'd been molesting his sister.
Cool, twin brothers from my high school drove home intoxicated from a football game, crossed a double yellow, and smashed head-on into a car coming in the opposite direction, killing the other 2 occupants almost instantly. The brother not driving was severely injured, and is currently still slightly mentally disabled. The brother driving came away with relatively minor injuries. Somehow he got away with no charges filed, probably on account of his lawyer father. He was also on one of our more successful teams, so when he returned to school a couple of weeks later, they announced it during a school assembly, basically celebrating his return, and congratulating him on a speedy recovery. Some of his friends started applauding, but pretty much everyone else ostracized him from that point on, given the fact that he killed 2 people. And yes, he still is, and was a piece of
I don't get why, in accident stories like this, the drunk driver almost always survives, and it's always random people who get killed. It's so unfair.
You instinctively steer away, protecting yourself first. This is why it's recommended that if you have one child in the vehicle, they should sit directly behind your seat. If you have 2 or more children, you put the one you like the most behind you. Last one to speak gets to sit behind mommy in the car. Choose your words wisely, kids. It may be your last if you get the passenger side.
Well, the popular girl at my school tried to ruin the life of a really sweet girl because of boyfriend drama. When she realized people were standing up for the sweet girl instead, she lost her mind. Accusing the other girl, and her boyfriend of property damage, turning on anyone who didn't swear loyalty to her, turning people against one another, screaming at teachers. It was a mess. The nail in the coffin was when she confided to me, and 2 others, that she was planning to put laxatives in the pastries she baked for the class. Obviously I let people know, and she became completely ostracized. She left at the end of junior year, and senior year was the most chill year ever.
I don't blame you for letting people know, you can't let the slide.
I got fed an entire bottle of X laxative, over the course of a day. I'm pretty sure I missed 2 days of school, and lost 3 to 5 pounds. I didn't leave the toilet for days, it was easily the worst week of my life. Oh yeah, and to top it all off, it completely with how my body functions, so now when I have to I gotta go right then, or I'm gonna myself. Long story short, don't with laxatives. Edit, my most upvoted comment, and it's about the shittiest day of my life.
Accidentally left a video of himself sticking stuff up his ass on a phone that he sold to another student. I never saw him again after that.
Wholesome for once, I guess. All popular kids in my school were complete dickheads that bullied others. This fella, king of the hill, starts dating a girl from another school that was friends with one of the bullied kids. The kid told the girl what her boyfriend does in that school, so the girl threatened to break up with him, if he didn't change his ways. He stopped socializing with the cool folks, and started getting bullied by them, and none of the other kids wanted to warm up to him. He was a loner at school, but he made his girlfriend happy, and he was happy. Well, everyone else grew up. He didn't, and doesn't seem to want to. Now it's everyone else's fault 10 years later.
Uck. This is the path my brother is going down. My mother fears that he will be 30 with no education, skills, or job. The kid just has no work ethic in him. It was easy for him to cruise through high school since literally it is almost impossible to fail, but when college came he got kicked out 1 semester in, and now just does nothing.
The person I was referencing is 28, and does the absolute bare minimum, and actually talks about college, and seeking to better yourself as a bad thing. I'm pretty sure he's starting to lean towards the incel side of things as well, and has a need to prove his masculinity. Growing up he was one of the coolest kids in high school. We were best friends. Now he's just a homophobic YouTube troll that you can't have a regular conversation with without it going towards identity politics.
There was a popular cheerleader at my school that was in a bad car wreck, and she suffered severe brain damage. The day she came back, some of her friends, aka the popular kids, sat with her at lunch. Every day after that though, they sat on the other side of the cafeteria in their normal spot, and she was with the other special needs students. They would walk past her without saying a word. As far as everyone knew, her entire group of friends completely abandoned her. I don't think she missed them though, so silver lining, she seemed to be very happy most of the time after the accident. Not so much before. This was in the mid-late 80s, and every teen movie with a bunch of shitty preppies pretty much accurately depicts the popular kids in my high school.
There was a guy that was pretty popular. He got really drunk at a party, and totally didn't know where he was. He pulled down his pants, squatted, and totally started to poop. He moved away immediately. He was a senior, and I was in 8th grade, that was well over 25 years ago. Well, he friended me on Facebook a couple months ago, and I kinda recognized him. I racked my brain, and it came to me, the guy who pooped at the party. Poor guy.
Sometimes, when I'm pooping at home in my own bathroom, I think, what if I'm delusional, and I'm really somewhere else? What if I fell asleep at work, and I'm dreaming, and pooping in my chair? What if I wake up, and there's poop everywhere? It haunts me.
You are not alone. I've had the same awful thought. I think it's because I have had so many dreams where I am peeing, or pooping, and it's in really weird places. For instance, like 2 nights ago I dreamt I was on a toilet in the back of a truck, pooping, while the car was driving, and water kept splashing my butt. You are not alone.
I mean, is nobody else going to say it? No? Alright. Geez. What a party pooper.
Every party needs a pooper, that's why we invited him.
Girl in my middle school was really popular, but she was also super nice. I was a total outcast with a lot of problems, but she was the only person who ever treated me like a normal human being. She came out as bisexual, and got bullied so badly, she had to move schools.
I hope this was many years ago.
It would have been about 12 or 13 years ago.
That's about when my bro came out. I still remember talking to my distraught mom about it because she was scared for him, not because she didn't accept him. It was a different time.
15 years ago, my senior year, I was getting explicit death threats and vandalism about once a month at my home. Destroyed our mailbox many times, including setting it on fire. My family ended up moving after I graduated, thank God. I've never been back, but I often wonder what it's like now for gay kids. If things have changed.
Robbie was a big huge bully. I used to play football with him, watched a coach go full psycho on him, literally kicking him in the ass all the way off the field because he spit on a player, and the goddamned gall of it just sent the coach into a rage, and Robbie mocked him the whole way off the field. But when that kid hit you, it was like a freight train. He was always very dumb, and angry, and rabid. He teased everyone for everything. Yet somehow remained pretty popular in the upper echelon, because he hit like a beast, and won football games. Then one day, it was so weird. He came to school in a sweater with an unironed button down underneath. He usually came to school in torn t-shirts, and basketball shorts, and was generally a disheveled mess. He had an older brother Ronnie, who never looked like any of that, so we knew he wasn't poor, he was just being Robbie. So this was a big deal, and it was bizarre, and when people asked him what was up with it, he would just say,
"I'm gay now."
It was so strange, he did not lose any intensity. But he kept saying like,
"I'm gay now. I like boys, okay?
And,
I want a boyfriend. You wanna go out?"
I saw him get genuinely upset with people laughing at him. He'd just scream,
"It's not a joke. I'm gay, you assholes."
Nobody knew what to do with it. We were a country school. We had a gay kid, a kid Robbie had bullied. Now Robbie was trying to hang out with him. Nobody wanted to touch that weirdness with a 10-foot pole. We figured best case scenario the dude had lost a bet. But then he did it the next day. And the next. For months he kept dressing a Robbie version of preppy, and proclaiming his gayness. Pretty sure he got an earring at some point. If I remember correctly, he later recanted all of this, and screamed down anyone that brought it up. Maybe it was a legit attempt to come out, but he just robbied the whole thing up until it was unpalatable. He's in prison now.
What is he in prison for?
Gay.
Phew, thank God for the police, wouldn't want those monsters out on the street.
You are hereby convicted of gay.
We all laugh, but it used to be true.
Still true for a lot of people.
Mike Pence has entered the chat.
Mike, if you like cock, you get the shock. Pence.
She was pretty, and fairly popular, and near the end of the school year told everyone she had cancer. We were approaching the end of grade 7 at the time. Eventually literally everyone knew, teachers, other parents, other grades, etc., and it kind of united everyone who weren't typically friends, and that was kind of cool. Until one day, maybe a week or two in, a pair of girlfriends go to visit her at her parents' house, and they bring it up, and discover it was a hoax. She pissed off a lot of people, and lost all her friends after that. Gained new ones eventually, but what a goddamn weird thing to lie about.
Same thing happened at my middle school. The girl would skip school, and tell her friends she was absent because she was undergoing chemo. One of our friends brought it up to a teacher when the teacher mentioned something about her missing class so much, and the teacher called her mom. I still remember her mom calling me, and telling me she was calling everyone in the girls' address book to tell them her daughter did not have cancer. She lost some friends afterwards as well because a lot of people thought she was weird for lying about that.
He got with me. For real. He was the most popular, and I was the most unpopular. He was still always popular but less so after that. Now we've been together for 10.5 years, and married for a little over 8.
Pulled out a knife, and slashed another student. Kid with the knife went to Outcast status. Kid that got slashed became super cool, and had a scar, everyone wanted to see it. I can link to an article about the stabbing if anyone's interested.
Guy got accused of rape at a party, and nobody believed the girl, and people spread vicious rumors about her, and sided with him. The whole thing seemed like everyone viewed him as a victim, and he played himself up that way. Until, a few months later, another girl said she had been raped by him at a party, and multiple other people at the party saw her hysterically crying, and bruised afterwards.
There were not so many people supporting him after that.
I got away with it once, I'm sure I can do it again.
Hope the girls are okay, that's horrible to hear.
And I would have gotten away with it again another time, if it weren't for those meddling women who think consent matters.
I had the opposite of that at my high school. At a party, guy and girl go into a bedroom and get it on. Girl's boyfriend finds out, and she accuses the guy she slept with of rape to appease his boyfriend. It was in the papers, news, and everything. It even went to court. She broke down and admitted she lied, and it was consensual. The poor guy who had sex with her will forever be associated with rape.
Crack. He and his couple friends started smoking crack senior year of high school. They got quarantined to themselves. Ran into one of them a couple weeks ago. He kept trying to get me back to their apartment to do meth.
Well, at least he's off the crack.
He upgrades to crack plus.
The iCrack S+.
I'm pretty sure they never left hometown, and are now populating house parties, trying to hook up with 14-year-olds.
He keeps getting older, but they stay the same age.
Got her ass kicked by a sophomore, whole school ran over. Pretty funny, the sophomore was defending her older sister, because the girl who got her ass kicked was talking shit about their dad getting kicked out of the country.
Talking shit about their dad getting kicked out of the country. Kids can be cruel.
Yeah, but we all collectively as a group knew that shit wasn't cool.
Throwaway, as popular to Outcast kid is still a close friend, and knows my Reddit handle. In 8th grade, he was a popular, kind, and well-liked jock in a small Midwest school. He was showering in the locker room after basketball practice, as we'd all done 100 times before. But this time, he suddenly got a no apparent reason boner. Dude was mortified, and moved to one of the corner shower heads to hide, and wait for it to subside. One of the other popular jocks saw it, called him out, and it was all over. He was ostracized by the jocks, and bullied mercilessly from that time till he graduated senior year. They nicknamed him Boner, and spread rumors he was gay. I don't know how he managed to get through high school with his sanity. Turned out well for him in the end. He dropped sports, and focused on academics in high school, got into a good college, and is more successful than the bags that bulled him. He has an amazing wife, and kids.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and ring the notification bell.